When people discover that I've been a full-time digital nomad since 2007, one of the first questions that comes up is about digital nomad jobs. I'm really amazed at some of the misconceptions that come up, and these misconceptions lead to massive limitations. A lot of people don't think that they can become digital nomads because they don't think they have the career skills. If they knew what I'm about to tell you, their lives could be very different. Today, we're talking about different types of digital nomad jobs, with some big truths about remote work for nomads. I'll reveal the 3 types of digital nomad work, the evolution of digital nomad jobs over the years, how you can use this information to get started finding the best fit for your skills, and the big audacious misunderstanding about it all that might unnecessarily be holding you back from jumping into this lifestyle. Let's do this. My inbox is full of people asking me where to find digital nomad jobs. I've also had a few social media posts and clips that have gone a bit viral and have drawn a very wide range of inquisitive comments, including a lot of naysayers who think that I'm peddling some kind of snake oil or I'm living off a trust fund or family wealth. I'm not. Although I was born into a privileged life by virtue of my Canadian passport and the color of my skin, the rest I built up from the ground up, with no help from anybody. And let me tell you, it did take some finesse because in 2007, digital nomad wasn't really a thing. Now, normally I would save a big audacious misconception about this lifestyle for the end of a video as a sort of grand finale. But in this case, I have to get it out of the way because everything else hinges on this fundamental truth. Digital nomad is not a job title. Don't try to search for digital nomad jobs because it's not a job. Likewise, don't try to search for travel jobs because you're going to get a bunch of results that don't generally apply to what we're talking about here. Digital nomad is a lifestyle. It's about harnessing the power and flexibility of remote work so you can explore the world on your own terms and your own timeline. Once upon a time, the term digital nomad referred to somebody who was proverbially homeless and traveled full-time while working remotely. I did this myself for 12 full years. I've also observed that in recent years, this strict definition of digital nomad has loosened to include anybody who is traveling while working remotely, even if you have a home base. Usually those trips are longer than a standard vacation would be because partly if you're working along the way, there's no point in going anywhere for a week or two if you're just going to spend most of that time at your computer. This is why I must emphasize, digital nomad is not a job, it's a lifestyle. And now more than ever, this lifestyle is accessible in so many ways. So in this video, we have started with the big picture of digital nomad being a lifestyle. Now we're going to drill down a bit and discuss the 3 types of careers that digital nomads can have. After that, we can start to get even more granular about specific jobs and job types. The first type of digital nomad job is to be a remote employee. Picture this. Your office could be a Parisian cafe one day and a Balinese beach the next, with a whole lot of flying time in between. Many companies now offer positions that allow you to work remotely from anywhere in the world. On the pro side, it's a secure, stable option with a steady paycheck, predictable hours, and somewhat limited responsibility, which in this context is a good thing. It's perfect for people who love the structure of having a job, but crave some adventure with a travel lifestyle. On the con side, if your employer requires you to be online during very specific hours, it might affect your choice of destination. When I did a trip recently with Hacker Paradise in Estonia, many of the participants were remote employees who worked for North American employers. They had to be online, without question, from 9 to 5 Eastern Time, which was 4 to midnight Estonian time. Although they had to miss out on a few group activities in the evenings, it was a manageable time difference. Going to Asia and navigating a 12-hour time difference is another matter. Now, some people do it and it can totally work. You do your social stuff and exploring during the mornings and evenings before and after work, and you just sleep through the day. As with all digital nomad lifestyle choices, you need to know what works for you. The second type of digital nomad job is to be a remote freelancer. Freelancers use their skills to work with multiple clients. These clients ultimately call the shots. They dictate what you do for them and they pay the bills, so they're kind of like bosses. I may be underselling the concept of being a freelancer by suggesting that you'll have to answer to a bunch of bosses, but there is a ton of flexibility in being a freelancer that you don't have as an employee. First up, you choose your clients. So if you don't like working with a client, you get rid of them. In effect, you get to hire and fire your bosses. This puts you in the driver's seat when it comes to how busy you are and how much money you earn. You also get to choose gigs that suit your ideal lifestyle and schedule preferences. If you want to spend some time in Southeast Asia, you might not want to choose clients who require you to be online at 2 a.m. On the flip side, being a freelancer lacks stability and requires you to take care of a bunch of things that you probably don't need to worry about as an employee. First of all, you've got to find your clients, and depending on the type of work you do, finding clients may or may not be easy. Some clients may be long-term, so you don't have to actively worry about it, which is ideal, but some freelancers have a lot of short-term and one-off gigs, which means you're always on the hunt for new work. This can lead to a bit of a feast or famine mentality. As a freelancer, you never know when the work might dry up. So if you're faced with a situation where you have more work opportunities than perhaps you'd like, this is the feast phase, you might still be inclined to take all those jobs because you never know when those jobs may end and all the work dries up. That's the famine phase. Some people deal with the feast-famine situation better than others. Also, as a freelancer, although you're working for your clients, you're also the boss or employer because you're managing a business. This requires attention to things like accounting, perhaps hiring staff to help you, taxes, health insurance, and more. This also means, depending on your tax situation, that you'll have more opportunities for tax write-offs and deductions that you wouldn't have as an employee. Ultimately, being a freelancer is challenging but very rewarding, and perhaps for people who crave variety and independence and have the discipline to manage their own schedule. The third type of digital nomad job is to be an entrepreneur. Now, quick distinction here. All freelancers are entrepreneurs, but not all entrepreneurs are freelancers. An entrepreneur is somebody who runs a business, plain and simple. It could be a business of one or thousands. The trick is that you have a product or service that you offer. It requires the vision to find a market opportunity or need, the ingenuity to figure out how to fill that need, and the personality to get out there and sell your product or service. It also requires the smarts to know when you're out of your depth, and the faith in your business offering to invest and hire the right team to help you make your business vision a reality. On the pro side, the sky is the limit when you're an entrepreneur. You get to call all the shots and you're the head honcho. On the con side, it's the riskiest of all these job types because although you hold all the upside of profits and sales, you also hold all the downside if something that may or may not be in your control happens to affect your business. Not everybody has the personality or the stomach to be an entrepreneur, and that's okay. Also, there are different levels and stages of entrepreneurship. You might just want to be a solopreneur, which means you are the main person in your business. Or you may enjoy the challenge of managing teams of employees. By way of example, I will describe how my own career has evolved in the last 18 or so years of being a digital nomad. Like I said earlier, in 2007, remote work was not really a thing, and digital nomad wasn't a recognized lifestyle. So for me, my primary motive was to travel the world long-term and in a culturally immersive way. I already had experience running a business as a financial planner, and when I sold my business, it kicked out a small monthly income for my first 2 years on the road. This gave me the freedom and flexibility to explore my career possibilities while I explored the world. I wasn't even thinking about remote work. In fact, my initial career ideas were maybe to become an outdoor education instructor because I thought that might be a transferable skill. I also took a bartending class because, again, I figured that was something that I could do anywhere. I thought the only possibilities were to get jobs along the way. But a few months into my travels, it was like lightning struck when I realized that with a laptop and an internet connection, I could earn a living as a freelance writer. I'd always been a prolific writer, so I knew that I had the skills. I just had to learn the business. And so began my freelance career. I obviously knew that I could write about travel because that was what I was doing. I also recognized that travel writing gigs had the most competition. I mean, who doesn't want to have a feature in National Geographic or Condé Nast Traveler or any of the other high-profile travel magazines that we all know? But I also had this expertise in personal finance, having run a financial planning practice for the past number of years. So I started looking for gigs that would allow me to write about personal finance while also keeping an eye out for opportunities to write about travel, perhaps for smaller publications. That's exactly what happened. Interestingly enough, over time, I found myself getting hired by finance publications to write about travel, and I was getting hired by travel publications to write about finance. In both cases, I was able to offer a unique angle in my pitches that most writers couldn't provide. Somewhere in this process, I became known as the finance of travel expert. In this few years that I was developing my freelance writing career, blogging started to take off, and my own blog, which was really just a glorified online journal at the time, started getting publicity and was being read by people other than my mother. Fast forward a few more years and blogging became a full-on career opportunity that could be monetized through display ads and affiliate sales and sponsorships. Now, I didn't really take my blogging career super seriously in those initial years, to be honest, but I think that could be a topic for another video. Ultimately, as the years went by, my business as a content creator expanded, and it took on many different forms and platforms. I not only have this YouTube channel, but I also continue to manage and write for my website, my Insider Circle emails, and a variety of social media channels and platforms with many hundreds of thousands of viewers, readers, etc. I've written books, I've done consulting, I speak at conferences around the world, and believe it or not, there's more to come. Naturally, this has taken precedence over my freelance writing career. I gave up the last of my freelance writing gigs about a year ago, and I haven't looked back. This now means I am 100% an entrepreneur versus 2007 when I started out my digital nomad journey as 100% a freelancer. My career isn't the only thing that's come a long way in the last 10 or 15 years. Digital nomad jobs, as in what you can do for work while having a digital nomad lifestyle, has also seen quite an evolution. 10 years ago, digital nomadism seemed like a niche lifestyle, limited to certain professions. Web development, writing, graphic design, drop shipping, online marketing. These were like the only go-to careers for early digital nomads. Times have changed. When the pandemic struck, companies had to scramble to go remote or become obsolete. Industries got really creative in finding ways to continue doing business remotely. And this digital revolution has made it possible for a huge number of skill sets to now be utilized remotely. This is a game changer for aspiring digital nomads. The range of careers that can now be pursued remotely is astonishing. Entire careers have been created by virtue of technology. Social media managers, virtual reality designers, digital marketing, and online product development are all new fields. Other careers have been converted. Educators have gone online, as have digital healthcare professionals, remote legal consultants, and more. This evolution reflects a larger cultural shift towards flexibility, autonomy, and the desire for a work-life balance that accommodates our personal priorities, whether or not that involves travel. And we're not done changing yet. AI is redefining what can be done by humans or outsourced to technology. While some people's careers may be made redundant by AI, where one door closes, another door, or two or three, opens. Whether you're an employee, freelancer, or entrepreneur, the digital nomad journey is about writing your own story. It's about breaking the mold, embracing technology, and living life on your terms. Remember, being a digital nomad isn't just about the job, it's about integrating work with a lifestyle of exploration and freedom. Speaking of the digital nomad lifestyle, I have a lot of content on this topic. Check the next screen for 2 videos that will help you continue on this journey. And please subscribe so you know when I kick out new digital nomad content. I'm Nora Dunn, aka The Professional Hobo, and I'll catch you next time. Ciao.